two dudes with attitudes, let's go. It's the two dudes and our attitudes ruthless, aggressively speaking, so let's do this. With Ryan and Denton, they here to get your attention. A 5-star broadcast, shit, start to the ending. Whether it's the E or it's all E, the two dudes with the attitudes that bring the heat. Get the point, yeah, it's on, time to lock in. Listen to the podcast where they get it poppin'.
It's Two Dudes with Attitudes, a wrestling podcast with your boy Ryan Enjoys Wrestling and MWO. And this is our AEW edition where we're going to talk all things Collision and Dynamite. Because you know, if there's one thing I always am when it is our AEW podcast recording time, is excited. Because I'm so excited. And I just can't hide it. Woo!
But you know, Saturday night is time for fighting, right? So
that is.
So we got that song too, which like two of the worst songs possible. For, like they don't get me hyped at all for wrestling.
No, and I can't. It bothers me so much when those AEW loyalists are like, no, it's great. You just don't get it because you want to hate. It doesn't have to. No, it has to be anything but the songs they picked. But I think sometimes, just like the internet is filled with trolls, sometimes I feel like Tony Khan is the biggest troll of them all. He's doing it on purpose and trolling us. Just like Triple H is starting to troll us now with, giving the Dave Meltzers and Sean Dumbs of the world misinformation so they can put it out there to look like idiots. So I'm starting to dig the trollness in certain things. But anyway, let's get into it. We got some breaking news. Two dudes, read the news. What do you got for us, Ryan? Woo.
Yeah, so we got a fresh new graphic up here today, but
I like it.
Apparently last week, Saraya did an interview with TMZ of all publications for whatever reason, and she's currently off AEW television, but she had revealed that her contract is ending in September, and she did not rule out a potential return to the WWE. She didn't rule out an exit from AEW either. She basically said, she was asked about a potential return to WWE, and she said she would weigh her options when free agency approaches this fall. She said, yeah, I love the WWE. I appreciate everybody there. They made me. They gave me my career, and I'm just appreciative of that. One day, who knows? I love my time in AEW, though. My contract's up in AEW in September, so I don't know. Maybe I'll stay with them. Maybe not. I don't know. And then also in this interview, she mentioned that she's ready to return to AEW, but wants to find the best time to be reintroduced back into storylines. And once she is back, she is eyeing a match with Mercedes Mone. She called that one very important because the two women have an opportunity to address what happened, because it was Mercedes Mone who injured her neck in a wrestling ring that caused Paige to miss 5 years of her career. So they could revisit that whole story in the future. But who knows? If she's leaving, maybe Tony Khan will do what he's doing with Rey Fenix and Britt Baker and Ricky Starks and add time to her contract, so she's not really going to go. So who knows? But Saraya her contract's up, and she's not ruling out a return to WWE.
If you've never seen Saraya's movie, you need to go check it out, by the way. It's a fantastic movie. I mean, her name is Paige in the movie, but great stuff. And WWE helped do that, so I can see why she'll always be for WWE. My thing with Saraya is that, does she want to wrestle or does she not want to wrestle? Has it been Tony Khan decisions? Because when she came back, she was kind of wrestling. Then she won the world championship, and I was like, okay, now she's going to go. And then she just like instantly lost it, and then just kind of only wrestled in tag team matches. I know that's a Tony Khan way. I don't know if it's like a Edge situation when he was in WWE and he wanted to wrestle, but they were like, no, dude, we don't want you to wrestle that much. I don't know if that's why, but if she's going to continue to wrestle, I think she needs to go to WWE. She doesn't have much further to go. She will be a Hall of Famer in my eyes. So put her in WWE, let her end it there. If she wants to stay in AEW, fantastic. Let's have her continue to wrestle too. I mean, Saraya is another girl who has a total package, right? I mean, she's freaking stunning. She's just gorgeous. She's phenomenal in the ring. She's great at promos. She shows she can lead factions in WWE and AEW. She's everything you want. So wherever she wants to go, I'm all for it. Bring her back. I hate that she has a bad rap and people crap on her. I think she's fantastic. once again, not offended by her videos and such. I mean, every human being has made those. We're just not celebrities where people find it and put it onto the internet. I mean, she's dope. I like her. I like everything she does. I hope to see her back. But if it's her end, if she only got like a year or two left, I say WWE, because why not?
She's only 32, so it's not like she's approaching. She's still in her prime. So
that neck.
That neck is that's you never know how predictable that. I mean, how unpredictable that injury can be. So
that's what I'm insinuating. Is she not wrestling because it does hurt and she can't go that much, or is it a Tony Khan thing? Because if she can go, she can have 10 more years in her. She's young.
Yeah, absolutely. So so Saraya may be done with AEW with a lot of other people apparently. So we'll keep an eye on it. But if she does come back, I mean, I guess I'm okay with a story between her and Mercedes Mone, because Mercedes technically injured her in the ring, but as long as So,
but you said Mercedes money, I went to sleep. That's my those are my pills I say before I go to bed. I just say Mercedes money, and not Sasha Banks, Mercedes money.
Right. As long as they approach the story correctly, I'll be okay with it. But we'll see what happens.
All right, and you got one more bit of news.
The big news of the day. This just broke this morning, but Elias has signed with AEW, and the universe has aligned, and things are like all is right in the world because the GOAT is back in All Elite Wrestling. He's going to be apparently Elijah is his character now. He's been wrestling in Impact a little bit. I see him on TikTok Live quite a bit. He's preaching the Bible all the time. But
that's it.
Nice. But he released a video on social media earlier this week on his X account, I believe, with him working with the Righteous and on ROH. And in the video, he asked who wants to walk with the Righteous Ones, and they showed him playing the guitar, kind of facing some of his previous gimmicks and everything. So, but the news broke that he's officially signed with AEW. He hasn't appeared on AEW television yet, but I am ready for that promo when he comes out with the guitar and he says AEW stands for All Elijah Wrestling. It's got to happen because that was his slogan in WWE. It stood for Walk with Elias. I'm walking with Elijah. He is Joe Hendry before Joe Hendry. He's better than Joe Hendry. And
facts.
Elias is fantastic and got a great look. He can go in the ring, and I want to see this. I'm ready for this.
Trying to get my beard like his. Hey, you are the biggest Elias fan. You guys don't believe us. Go back to when we first started this podcast. You were screaming in your dreamings all the time about Elias.
Yes.
Here's the thing. I never got why the Righteous didn't work. They were very Wyatts. They were very cool. And then it felt like they were getting a vibe. And then all of a sudden they just jobbed to MJF all by himself because Adam Cole was hurt. And then we really never saw them kind of again. It's too bad. But adding Elijah into the mix, whoo! Now, what if they can also sign Elijah's twin brother? Holy
Ezekiel?
cow. Unstoppable. Who I don't know what his name would be, but unstoppable if they can get his twin brother as well. Woo! Woo-woo. But yes, I'm excited. And I'm always excited for wrestlers getting jobs who deserve jobs, or just any wrestler in general. So as fans, that's what we want. So him getting work, especially probably getting paid in AEW, because they get overpaid in AEW. ATM Tony. It's not ATM Eric anymore. It's ATM Tony. Pay that man. So yeah, I'm all for it. So
Elias is going to bring AEW back to the promised land. They're going to get millions of views when he shows up. So make it happen. I'm ready. I'm just kidding.
Man, I can't even. The sad part is you mean it. That's the best.
No, I'm serious. Gosh. I'm joking.
I cannot wait until Elijah's on Dynamite, because you are going to be singing that. I'm so excited.
Oh, I will be. Yeah, I'll be marking out.
Yeah, you're like, now the song.
But you know what? Sense. Like, I'm not calling anybody out, but all these other big time creators are going to be like, I'm a big Elias fan. I have been since day one. They will.
Oh,
like,
100%.
I'm like, no, you're not. No, you're not.
Yeah. Well, only the ones who only talk about AEW. It was just like, just with anything. Like, they didn't care about Ricochet. They used to make fun of Ricochet. He was a wannabe AEW guy and not great and doing things worse than what AEW guys do. And now he's in AEW. And they're like, this is the best gimmick in the history of the world. I don't understand why you don't get it, MWO. It makes sense. So, we'll talk about that. But let's get into some Collision, because it's Saturday. So we're going to start off with your boy, the guy who still keeps getting named incorrectly by the announcers and other wrestlers. If you're going to change your name, holy shit, guys, make sure that you know what his name is. But Cope cut a promo and he challenges Jon Moxley for the World Heavyweight Championship that I'm going to be honest, forgot that he even had. We were talking before we got on. I was wondering if they even call him the world champion anymore. I rarely ever hear it. At least paint the belt on the briefcase so I know that it's in there. But either way, he challenges them at Revolution, which is awesome because I will be there no matter what, and I will be doing videos and things and such. It's like $60 to get in, so I'm going to try to get $200 tickets on the floor, homie, not the front, but on the floor. So I'm going to try to. I think if I wait till the day of on game time, I think I can get on the floor for like $100-something bucks. So I'm excited. I want to go. So yeah, but anyway, I will be there. What do you think? Because I heard you truly have feelings on this promo.
I love Adam Copeland. I think he's fantastic.
I don't know who that is.
Oh, sorry. I love Edge. No, sorry.
I don't know who that
is. Cope.
Yeah,
Cope.
Rated
the
R
rated R
superstar.
superstar.
Yeah.
Cope. Yeah.
So there you
go. I love that guy. I think he's great. But his promo to me was just very. You will respect our generation. It was just old man yells at cloud. You will respect our generation. I was wrestling back in my day. I was wrestling 200 days a year, and while you were having pink hair in bingo halls, you were wearing diapers. I'm like, we paved the way for your generation. You guys got guaranteed contracts. That's because of us. You will respect us, and I understand, right? You want to respect the people that kind of paved the way and helped you get there. But it's just, I don't know, like compared to what we'll talk about later with Dustin Rhodes and MJF. This just felt very like, that's not his gimmick. That's not his character. That's not who he is. He's cool, right? Like he's the rated R superstar. He doesn't give a shit about stuff. Like he's a rock star. He's got one of the greatest theme songs in the history of wrestling. That's not his gimmick. Is not, I'm an old man and you will respect me, youngin. And like also Jon Moxley's not far behind him in age either.
No.
So it's not like he's talking to MJF. It's not like he's talking to Daniel Garcia. It's not like he's talking to Darby Allin. He's talking to somebody who also wrestles 200 days a year, was also wrestling in bingo halls, and was also, helped paving the way for the current version of AEW. One of the founders and starters of AEW, been in AEW since day one. So I didn't like that. And I also felt like he was kind of playing the role of what the internet's been saying about Jon Moxley being the champion, because he's like, you carry the belt in a briefcase and we just moved to a new network. Newsflash, idiot. That was a great decision. And he also said something like, the fans, nobody knows what you're doing. Nobody knows what you're all about. Like basically like trolling Jon Moxley and the Death Riders. And I don't know. It just, I'm all for Adam Copeland getting a title match. I'm all for the world. I'm all for him winning the belt and kind of going from there. But this promo just didn't do it for me.
Yeah, I see where you're going with it. He did try too hard. I don't like when we try too hard. It was kind of like on the same episode when we had Ricochet and Swerve talk, and Swerve was like, "What's up, Trevor?" Like WWE and AEW both do it, and I hate it. Don't call like you think like I was like, "Oh damn, like government name," like whoa, like I don't give two. And half the people are probably like, "What the heck's a Trevor?" Like it's just stupid shit when we try too hard. We were talking about that with MJF for the past couple months, and now I feel like, which we'll get into on Dynamite, he's finding his groove again. But don't try too hard. And I am a huge Cope fan. I've loved him. Will forever love him. I had many a fun times with his little show that he put on with Lita in the ring when I was in high school. I enjoyed watching that over and over and over again. There was so many. Just Edge is just the man. Cope's the man. But I've stated this on this podcast before. I think he was meant for the WWE, and especially promo based, that he loses himself when he gets just the freedom to speak. Because I do think he's trying to be somebody else instead of who he is, or maybe this is really who he was, and the WWE made him somebody else.
Yeah.
But either way, it's just it doesn't hit all the time. But here's the thing with this promo: it was delivered really well. He did carry it. He didn't stutter. He had the intensity, and I like the fact that he's challenging Mox. And then we'll get into Dynamite onto how Mox is kind of not wanting that challenge. But nonetheless, I I liked it. I liked it more than obviously you did. I don't think it was perfect. And I get what you're saying because Mox is an old timer. He is a guy who came from WWE. He was a world champion in WWE. How many years ago? It's not like the Shield started a week ago. So he's been around. Sure, he wasn't in the Attitude Era, but dang,
and
he's been around.
He's been with AEW since the very beginning too. So like, it's not he's been there longer than Kopaz. That was the thing I didn't like. So you got to respect me. No, you got to respect him. Like he made this place.
Isn't he a 4-time champ? 3-time or 4-time?
The only 4-time champ. Technically 3, because one of them was an interim. But
that's right. Okay, yeah.
But technically 4. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, who are you? But anyway, yeah, I get what you're saying.
But it was done. It was delivered really well, and it was probably one of his best promos altogether in AEW. I just didn't care for the content of what he was saying.
Yeah, I feel you. All right, well, let's get into some weird content. So Max Caster decided to do a open challenge for the best wrestler alive, and he goes out and he cuts off Beast Mortis for some reason after Beast Mortis won in 4.7 seconds. And then Max Caster's out there, and out comes Roosh, of all people, someone that I've never liked because he refuses to sell. He refuses to do anything properly, and all he does is talk angrily. And he came out and literally defeated Max Caster in 1 minute. And then yelled at Beast Mortis, and that was it. So am I off base here with what we're doing with Max Caster? We talked about this when they split up. You were excited that Bones was going to be some kind of superhero for the gay community, and then we were going to have Billy Gunn maybe riding with him or maybe doing his own thing, maybe helping the Guns now. They're back. And then we had Max Caster being this nice little like chicken shit heel, which I like. But chicken shit heels can't lose. Chicken shit heels have to win. And chicken shit heels definitely cannot lose in their first ever open challenge match to a guy that nobody cares about in a 1 minute. I think it was 1 minute and 6 seconds. Am I lost here, or is this something they're going with that might kick in? Because after this, he gets chased off all around the ring by Hangman, and he's like, MJF, Hangman, oh, Hangman. Like so what is, I don't understand, like, I just feel like we're just burying this dude now. I'm not saying he is going to get buried, but we're slowly just, even his music sucked. He came out to like a Google search beat to make a rap song. Like it was like like Tony Khan, bro. Like Tony Khan's known for his intro. So like you couldn't get Max Caster a dope ass
saw that
beat.
Pyro on Dynamite. Yeah. But
my God. You couldn't get him a dope ass beat. Like everybody's got dope. You couldn't get him that. I'm very confused on what we're doing with Max Caster right now. Maybe I'm missing it. Am I missing it? I don't know.
No, you're spot on. I didn't care for it. This is not how you build a new star, right? Like we talk about Jon Moxley, we talk about Adam Copeland, we talk about, AEW's people. Mm-hmm. Max Caster is another AEW original that was there on the very first episode of Dynamite. And he's been linked with the Acclaimed ever since he started. And to me, this is very much how, like what WWE did with Giovanni Vici when he broke away from I can't even remember the name of the group now, that Gunther's group. Imperium. Yeah, when he broke away from Imperium, and then he went to SmackDown. And then his first match, he lost in less than a minute. And now he's nowhere to be found on
weird, huh?
the SmackDown brand. That's not how you build a star. And not saying Giovanni Vici's a star, but I think AEW is trying to book Max Caster as like this. He's the best wrestler alive. He's a star. He's great on the microphone. He
is a star, though.
Yeah, this is going to be his breakout moment. And then you have him lose. It just hurts his credibility. And I feel like I hope this is not the direction that they're going in permanently with Max Caster, where he's the chicken shit heel that loses all the time, that can't win big matches. Because I think he is a star, and I think they need to treat him like a star.
100%. And he is a decent wrestler. So have him go in there, put in the work. He's not that small. Have him beat people up and
let him win the TNT championship, something. Yeah. But or a mid-card title. Yeah.
Give him the scissors and have him cutting people up, not Ricochet. And it's more believable if it's Max Caster for multiple reasons. So yeah. All right. Well, we had a main event. We had Rated FTR versus the Death Riders in an all-out brawl. I think it was all of them, or maybe it wasn't. No, who was it? It was Death Riders against...
It was Claudio and Wheeler. Yeah.
Yeah, Claudio and Wheeler, but then against FTR, and then everybody came in eventually. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think? What'd you think about this chaotic main event between all these dudes?
I was surprised. I mean, it was anytime you get AEW and Street Fight in the same sentence, there's going to be blood, there's going to be unnecessary spots, there's going to be things that make you cringe. And I was actually surprised at how tame the match was compared to previous street fights before. So maybe they're getting the message that, you know, we don't need to bleed excessively. We don't need to, you know, gouge people's eyes out with screwdrivers and, you know, get, you know, tasers and stuff. Like, we don't need to do any of this crazy stuff. Now, they did have some spots with tools and like pliers in the mouth of FTR and, you know, some of that stuff, but it wasn't as egregious as, you know, what they did with Hangman and Swerve not too long ago. So I was kind of pleasantly surprised with that. But I didn't like that the Death Riders lost. I feel like you're trying to build this group up. There, you forgot that Jon Moxley was the world champ. I forgot that the Death Riders have the trios titles as well, so they cannot be losing. None of them should be losing right now. I've never been. I say this every week, but I'm not a fan of champions losing in non-title matches. It kind of weakens their reign. So, you know, I liked the match. I thought it was good. I thought it was a good way to. It was a fun way to end Collision with everybody coming out and Jon Moxley taking a beating. Marina Shafir got taken out as well. So I like the ending. Yeah, through a table. It was all good stuff. I just didn't like the result of FTR getting another victory over the Death Riders.
Yeah, kind of weird stuff there, right? I mean, a little bit. My thing is that we don't need to have hardcore matches on Collision, man. Like, I know that they tamed it, but nonetheless, this is what makes pay-per-views not feel as powerful, at least in my opinion, because we see the same matches on Collision. Like, Collision, nobody watches. Why are you giving a hardcore match? You could have just had, and if you want to have a all-out brawl, that's fine, but what's wrong with just a tag team match, regular tag team? I know they wanted everyone to get involved, but nonetheless, I mean, it's a minor thing. I thought the match was great. I thought it was booked properly. These are the people you're currently pushing right now, and especially in the title hunt, so why not continue to push it? But I'm with you. Not just the fact that Death Riders are champions, but the fact that aren't the Death Riders here to take over? Like, the NWO wasn't losing 6 months into their takeover. The Shield wasn't losing 6 months into their takeover of who they were. It's just really weird. And I get it was Wheeler Yuta, and I get blah, 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 but I don't like it, brother. Not for me, brother. I just don't, I don't know. I just don't like seeing the Death Riders take a pin. And I know you got to build up rated FTR to make them feel like contenders, but if you're going to do that, then don't have them wrestle or just have Wheeler lose in a normal match. I don't know. It's just very, very weird booking to see the Death Riders, who are supposed to be this force to be reckoned with. They just got beat by FTR. So are they the force to be reckoned with then? I don't know. I don't know. But good match. Good match nonetheless.
Yeah, and, you know, I agree. They don't need to be having these matches on Collision, but I was pleased that they tamed it up a little bit and didn't do anything to make us cringe, which is typical AEW fashion when they do these hardcore matches.
True that. All right, time for some Dynamite on Max. You ready?
Yes, sir.
And we're going to start off with what I think was a phenomenal thing, but let's talk about it. MJF is back. He cut a promo. He was interrupted. What'd you think?
This was peak MJF. This is the MJF that I've loved, and I'm glad that he's starting to kind of get his mojo back now that he's moved away from Adam Cole, and he's coming back into the ring week in and week out. I feel like when he's been in the ring and he's been in the arena and he's been away from Adam Cole, he hasn't really missed on his promos. His stuff with Jeff Jarrett surprisingly has been pretty good, and this week was no different with Dustin Rhodes. So I like the promo. I like the exchange. I like the pull apart brawl that they had with Dustin Rhodes. I know a lot of people on social were upset about, well, you mentioned Cody Rhodes. Oh, way to mention the top guy in the other company. But he really didn't. He never said that, you know, your brother's a champion. He just said that you never lived under, you're living under your brother's shadow currently, which is true. Nobody, when people think of Dustin Rhodes, they think of Cody Rhodes. So I didn't really have a problem with that. I thought the whole segment was great. And I know I just talked about how I didn't like Adam Copeland's promo because he was very much old man yells at cloud. But I like this one with Dustin Rhodes because that's his character. That's what he does. He's been doing that since day one. You know, I'm a legend in this business and there's only a few of us left. And, you know, I'm one of the only legends here in AEW and I care about this place and I want to see it grow. And I'm tired of people like you who take the easy way out. I mean, it was just, I thought the whole thing was good. And I am curious where they go from here, what happens from here. Does this lead to a match with MJF? Does this lead to a tag team match of some sort with Jeff Jarrett and Dusty Rhodes? Like, but I liked it. I thought everything was good.
Yeah, I dig it all. And MJF needs something to do. He's not going to get the world championship
No.
right now.
Yeah.
We can't have him feud with the same boy with Adam Cole. They're finally moving on from that. So what gimmick should they give him? And I like him taking the Legends Killer approach that Randy Orton did back in his days. And I said this on TikTok and people came at me and they were like, what? You wanted him to steal somebody else's gimmick? And then I'm sorry to break it to you all. Pro wrestling continues to steal from everybody. There's no more original ideas. It's too hard. So anything's going to be taken or whatever. And it doesn't make that a bad thing. I dig MJF. And I don't know if that's what they're doing, but it seems like it. He went at Double J. He was going at Dustin now. And then he walked by Dustin, was chirping off to Christopher Daniels. Why not? You want this guy to get heat. You want this guy to feel important. Have him take out everybody's fan favorites. Have him beat up people that people like to get him that heat on his road back to the world championship. It's pure. It's brilliant. I hate when they bring up WWE people. I hate when they bring up things they don't need to bring up. But like you said, it did work here. So as long as it works, it's fine. He was talking about his daddy, let it into his brother. It makes sense. I don't know why it made Dustin's. I thought it should have went the other way around. I don't know why the brother comment would offend him more than his father that passed away. I would assume, oh, you're talking about my brother? All right, dude. At least he's doing all right. But also your dad. Yeah. Oh, hell no. You're not going to talk about my daddy. Like, I thought that was a weird angle, but it's because they wanted the cheap pop for the Cody mention. But nonetheless, I loved it, dug it, and I hope MJF mops the floor with Dustin. Here's the thing. Dustin can go. Dustin can always
he's
go.
Still good.
So the match is going to be great on Dynamite. It's going to be phenomenal. Although, did you see Dustin? He's like, I can't wait to face you on Tuesday. I'm like, bro, Dynamite's on. When was Dynamite ever on a Tuesday? And the announcers made sure to say that they were like on Dynamite Wednesday. So is ROH on Tuesdays? Is that why? Is he stuck in
I think
ROH
so.
land?
I think so. Yeah, because I think
just so you all know, getting old ain't fun, y'all. It happens. So don't be hating. Yeah. It happens. But yeah.
Yeah. And the other thing I liked about it too is they're sprinkling in still this feud between him and Hangman Page, which I am ready to see. I'm ready to get there, but I also appreciate the slow build to it. You know, even the passive aggressive comment to Christopher Daniels where he's like, "Oh, Hanger must have really done a number on you." You know, like I thought. I mean, that was a cheap shot at Hangman Page. Maybe this is how Hangman Page comes back to the light side instead of the dark path that he's on, because he sees MJF going at all these old people, which is what he was doing, and maybe he comes full circle and he takes out MJF on behalf of Jeff Jarrett and Dustin Rhodes, something like that. And then we get babyface Hangman Page and MJF. But I love how they're sprinkling it in. I'm all for it, because that rivalry is going to be off the chains
for realsies. So we had Toni Storm and Mariah May continue on their feud. Beautifulness. And
oh my god,
Mariah May started off her time in AEW dressing up as Toni Storm, and we always said that Mariah May looks more like Toni Storm than Toni Storm looks like Toni Storm. So now Toni Storm comes out dressed as Mariah May, and legitimately she looks more like Mariah May than Mariah May looks like Mariah May. I'm like in binoculars. So what I want to talk to you about is this feud. Is it great, greater, or the greatest? What do you think this feud is in the AEW realm of things? I mean, or even pro wrestling in general?
I think it's pretty damn good. I think it's the greatest feud that AEW's had in a long time, maybe ever. It's hard to put it past CM Punk and MJF. I know we can't talk about that because CM Punk's not there and they'll never show highlights of him anymore. And it's hard to put it past MJF and Cody Rhodes as well. But again, Cody Rhodes isn't there, so they're never going to talk about that feud ever again. So yeah, I think it might be the best feud that they've ever done. The best character work that I've seen in AEW are Hangman Page and Toni Storm. I mean, what she's doing is nothing short of spectacular. Everything just like, and it took a while for it to grow on me, but now Toni Storm is must-see TV. When she's on the screen, I have to stop and see what she's going to say, what she's going to do, how she's going to do it. Is she going to be Mariah May? Is she going to be Rockstar Toni Storm? Is she going to be her timeless self? Like, everything she's doing is fantastic. And if I'm Tony Khan, I'm locking Toni Storm up to a lifetime contract in AEW because she is the best thing going in that company right now.
Yeah, but she's also doing it with one Mariah May. You can't take away from her. She's
doing
her
can't.
Thing too. Yeah. And even her on the mic, she was even cutting good stuff where she was like, "Oh gosh, I did this months ago. Thank you."
And she did.
Yeah, like she did 100%. So it's still just working.
My favorite
thing-
part was
yeah, go ahead.
the innuendos where she's like she's missing two big things that doesn't make her Mariah May, and Taz was like, yeah, she doesn't have the AEW Women's World Championship, and they're like, she was like, yeah, that's it. No,
I keep saying Taz is the best in the business.
He's great.
He is so good and so underappreciated. She also made the rude comment too, where she was like, well, obviously that's not the outfit I was wearing, or she had to go get it tailored. And I was like, damn, girl, you're like calling her out for being a chubbly wubbly compared to you. And Toni Storm is not chubbly wubbly. She just got those big old hips. But yeah, no, she made a lot of funny comments and it works. Yeah. Oh no, they don't. Great. I think it is the greatest, possibly. I mean, you went to MJF and Cody and so on. I mean, we also have Hangman and Swerve, which needs to be in that conversation. And I think people sleep on MJF and Chris Jericho, man. I mean, people forget because it was so long ago. That, in my opinion, is one of the greatest feuds of all time. Even with their singing in the restaurant, trying to get in the inner circle. What is it? The dinner Deviera, whatever it was. One of the greatest segments in AEW history. It's just, there's a lot of good stuff, but this has to be, I think, it's been going on for so long. And I saw somebody, I don't want it to end next week. I don't think it should end. I think it'll be a huge mistake if Toni wins the title. I think this needs to go to All In. And somebody commented on me saying they can't drag it out for 5 more months. And I'm like, bro, they've been dragging it out for a year and a half. Yes, they can. This 100% can make it there, because if Mariah May finds a way to win, Toni Storm can get a little bit crazier, want that vengeance, build back up again. I mean, I think it can happen. I'm assuming she's going to drop it, but I don't think they should. I think this feud is too good. Yeah, and ending it now when AEW needs to kind of get this spark going again would be a bad idea.
Yeah, I agree. Ending it now is a mistake, especially on that Grand Slam show that was supposed to be a pay-per-view that has now been downgraded to an episode of Collision that's not even going to, it's going to be airing on tape delay after the NBA All-Star. Like, it's just, that's not when you need to drop the women's title and carry this gimmick on. I mean, if you want to drag it to Revolution, sure. If you want to go to, like, it needs to happen on a big stage, is my point. And All In is a fantastic spot for that to happen. But not on a pre-taped show that you thought was going to be a pay-per-view that's not. So yeah, that's how it.
I agree. All right, we had a return. The Guns. 2 words for you. Guns up. They returned. They look good. Even the short, chubby one now is short and buff. The other taller one, the tall, skinny one, got more muscles. They look phenomenal.
They got a great theme song.
They came in and they got a great theme song, probably the best in the business. They got a huge pop. People wanted them back. They got in the face of the Hurt Syndicate. Hurt Syndicate played a perfect job of not giving 2 shits about them. They will face off next Dynamite. What you think of this promo and the Guns' return to the stage?
I loved it. I think I thought it was probably. I was surprised. I was genuinely surprised. I mean, they had that vignette a couple weeks ago, so I wasn't surprised that the Guns were coming back. But I was surprised that they came back on this episode of Dynamite. And I don't like that they're going to go right up against the Hurt Syndicate right away, and they're going to probably lose, and some of their momentum is going to be stalled. But I'm sure there could probably be shenanigans and stuff, and they'll fight their way to the tag team titles again. But I was pleasantly surprised at the reception that they got, because I remember that when they beat the Acclaimed and they won the tag team titles, people were baffled by that decision. People did not like the Guns. Yeah, and then they joined the Bang Bang Gang, and they've kind of been looked at as jokes on the roster. Now they're being taken seriously. They cut a great promo. They have a great song. I thought everything was great, and I like that they're not afraid of Bobby Lashley. They're not afraid of Shelton Benjamin, and they're not. I mean, they weren't intimidated by them either, but I think this is a huge boost to the AEW tag division as well. I think that's probably their weakest division at the current moment, and bringing them back with the Hurt Syndicate. Now you have the Hounds of Hell, or the Hellhounds with Buddy Matthews and Brody King. And you have the Aussie Opens back apparently. So now the tag team division is starting to cook again. And I think the Guns can be a big reason for that.
Yeah, I fully agree. I like that they brought up their title reign too, because it was unforgettable, and it's only known for why the heck did they beat the Acclaim when the Acclaim was the hottest thing going on since sliced bread. But they brought up the fact that they never got their rematch televised, and so they needed that rematch, and I like that. And I think they can lose and still keep momentum. My hope is that this is the return. Yeah, it's the return of the tag team division, that they are going to go into this lose or whatever, and then let's build that division up around the Hurt Syndicate and build contenders and have the Guns get involved amongst other people. So yeah, I'm digging this. I like it. I'm all for it. I'm proud to say Guns up, baby. Let's do it. And I say bring Dad back, right? Are they good guys now? Bring Dad back.
Yeah. No, bring Billy back and have him align with them. The only thing I was confused about was, does this mean that Jay White's group is done? The Bang Bang?
I think so.
Jay White's teaming up with Adam Copeland next week, and the Guns didn't come out and help Jay White against the Death Riders. So
Juice is gone. Good.
Yeah. That was the only thing that was confusing to me. But other than that, I loved it.
Yeah, good stuff. All right, we're going to end up with stuff I don't love. Main event, Ricochet, Swerve. Swerve lost, basically clean.
Yeah.
I'll let you go first.
Oh, I don't know what's more like what I'm more disappointed in, the fact that Ricochet won the way that he did, or the fact that Swerve Strickland lost. Like, where does Swerve go from here? He lost to Bobby. He's been losing, man. Like, he lost to Bryan Danielson, then he lost to Bobby Lashley, and now he's losing to Ricochet. And I know that he can redeem himself, and if there's anybody that can, turn things around in 2025 in AEW, it's Swerve Strickland. And I know this isn't the end of this feud either, but I don't like the fact that he lost. And I know people are digging Ricochet right now. I'm not feeling his character. I'm not feeling his gimmick. He's just not doing it for me. The scissors thing, we didn't talk about the Collision interview, but that whole thing was awful. It felt like a B-list action movie with the scissors at the neck, and then Swerve puts him back in Ricochet's pocket, and he says, "I'll see you on Wednesday." It was just very, I'm not feeling this. And I've got nothing else to add. I didn't like this match. And yeah, it just ended. That was it. Once it ended, it ended. And there was no like follow up. There was no big angle to close out the show or anything. It was just the end of the match.
Yeah. And we get the same shit. Ricochet's like Will Ospreay, right? You know what you're going to get in his matches. The same move set over and over and over again. Yeah. Swerve, I don't know if he did some kind of deal where Tony was like, hey, in 2024, you're going to be the world champ. You're going to carry us on your back. You're going to have the best matches, and then you're going to lose to a guy who's going to retire. And after that, you're going to just build other people up and job all of 2025. Because if that's what they're doing, fine. If that's what Swerve is okay with, if he wants a job and build other people up, fine. But the people on the internet they forget that they're a small portion of what matters, right? And
we learned that on Monday.
Yeah, 100%. And that's just what we are. We're a small portion of what true pro wrestling is. Listen to Ricochet in the crowds. He doesn't get them. He's not getting pops unless you can somehow deaf. He gets no reactions. People don't give a shit about Ricochet. This character is not working. The only people who think it's working are the people who want it to work. You can think anything is good if you truly want it to be good, right? So it's like, I don't think it's good. I think it's stupid. The scissor thing's stupid. He's not a good villain. He's not cutting good promos. Hopefully he can get better. I like Ricochet. I want what's best for him, and I hope he can become this character that he's trying to be, and it could take time. So if they're going to give him that time and he's going to build up now to get there, so be it. But because of Swerve, I don't know, because now if Swerve ends up getting the upper hand, then what does that do for Ricochet? They're going to wrestle again, right? I'm assuming Swerve's not, but Swerve lost clean. I don't know. It was a huge miss for me. I get you put money into Ricochet, and I get you want him to be a star, but what the hell did Swerve Strickland do to deserve this? The dude should be your main guy. He should be in the Will Ospreay, Kenny Omega category right now, not the jobbing to Ricochet category. Just my view.
Yeah, I mean, he can always turn it around. It's only February, but it's not off to a good start. And his 2024 didn't end all that great either, with losses to Danielson and Lashley.
That's what I'm saying,
Ricochet. And I think what Ricochet needs is he needs a manager. He needs a Don Callis. He needs somebody who's great on the microphone. He needs somebody that can speak for him. And I think that would help his character a lot. But him just his talking just doesn't intimidate anybody, and his heel work just isn't feeling. I'm just not feeling it. So I think he needs like a mouthpiece or something. I think that's
why I was confused why he didn't join the Hurt Syndicate. They hinted at it and then they just punked him out of it. I don't get it. I don't get it. All right, that was our AEW week. Sorry we ended that on a negative, but it was another good week of AEW. And I actually thought Dynamite, minus a couple things, was a pretty damn solid episode. And we'll continue to talk about that. Yeah, we'll continue to talk about that in our segment of highs and lows. Kick it, dude.
Highs and lows, let's go. This is highs and lows. It's time for the list. Who's killing it and who should probably go and sit? You're the best getting listed up high as hell. It's for the lows. They can come up here and take a L. Yes, they got their fingers on the button. Yeah, never sweat the mid, just the best and who run it. I'ma let them chill, let them run through the list of names. This is highs and lows. Go ahead and do your thing.
All right, highs and lows time, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to talk about the highs and the lows of Collision and Dynamite this week of AEW. As always, we start with Ryan and Joyce Wrestling. Kick it. What's your first high of the week?
Harley Cameron is my high. I am in love. I am in love. But she is absolutely fantastic. And we talk about what Toni Storm's doing on the women's side with Mariah May. I'm loving what Harley Cameron's doing to try to get under the skin of Mercedes Mone. She's a talented ventriloquist, which I had no idea that was even a thing. I think AEW should start selling those puppets of Mercedes Mone puppets from Harley Cameron. I think but I mean, she's great in the ring. She's dynamic on the microphone. She's got range. She should be a star. And I think she should be the one to dethrone Mercedes Mone. I've said that about Chris Statlander before. I said it about Willow before. But I think it should be Harley Cameron. What they're doing with her is absolutely fantastic. She's gorgeous to look at, but she's also a flippin' entertaining performer and a great promo cutter and great in the ring. And she's thriving in that women's division.
She's also a great ventriloquist. Did you see her? She was off the screen, but when she was doing it on the screen, she wasn't even moving her damn mouth.
Yeah, she was great at it.
Wow.
Yeah.
She was so good. Great gimmick, man. Great guy. I heard a couple of people on TikTok that I won't name saying she's the most entertaining person in wrestling right now. That's stupid.
No.
But she is. Yeah, we always go over high with AEW, but no, she's doing it. And you can tell just how bad Mercedes Money is, and I'll get more into that in the lows. But on the fact that Harley Cameron is like carrying, and this new girl is doing 1,000 times better backstage promos.
Her puppet
than Mercedes Money is better than Mercedes Money is. It's just, and she's getting better in the ring. She's not perfect, but she's getting better. Obviously, she's freaking stunning. So it's fun to look at. Just everything about her is funny. I like the music. I like that she got off the guitar because other people do it. Now she's getting into puppets. No one does the puppet thing. I hope she continues to do that with Mercedes and whoever else she goes afterwards. But yeah, man, book her. Why not give her the title? What the hell is Mercedes doing with it? Nothing. Give her the TBS championship.
We talked about Max Caster earlier. This is how you build a star in the women's division. You can find something that works. You find something that the fans get attached to, and you keep giving it to them, and then you have her get a big win. And I think beating Mercedes Mone, who's undefeated, is a perfect way to build a star in Harley Cameron.
I agree. All right, my high, I'll start with the obvious. That's Mariah May and Toni Storm. They killed it yet again. Toni Storm cut a phenomenal promo on Collision, which we didn't talk about. So simple, so elegant, just in her accent, delivering the timeless one, talking about her acting and her this and that and what she's going to do to Mariah May. And then coming out dressed as Mariah May, holy cow, sucking her fingers, making love to the floor and everything else, the way she wrestled, her finisher, and just Mariah May counteracting it, and the way she looks and her reaction. She's such a good actress as well. Her responses on the mic, just like you said about the two assets and Taz not getting it, and then her talking about her needing a different outfit because it doesn't fit her, just all her little snarky remarks. Everything is just done well and not done over the top like what MJF was doing a few months ago. It's just golden, and I can just watch Mariah May and Toni Storm do whatever they want for the rest of their lives, and I would be satisfied. So I'm giving it to, look at that female, something AEW does really well, working that female division. So that's my first high of the week.
Yeah, no, those are good highs. And Toni Storm, man, she's something. She's fantastic, and they need to keep this going. They don't need to end it at next week on All-Star Weekend. After Bailey drops 40 in the celebrity game, we don't need to see Toni Storm drop the title. So
you're predicting 40? Oh, shoot. All right. Yeah, because every time she backed that up, every person's gonna be like,
Yeah.
all right, I'm good. I'm losing focus. I need to take a seat, coach. Yeah, it's gonna be
But we don't have her drop the belt on that night.
40. What's your second?
My other high, I'm going to flip it on you. I know we talked about it before, but what our highs and lows are. But I'm going to go the booking of Big Bill. I'm like we talk about like
well done.
We talk about stars in AEW. This man, when he turns on Chris Jericho, and it's going to happen sooner rather than later. That pop that he's going to get is going to be out of this world. What they're doing with him is spectacular. He's I think he has potential to be the breakout star of 2025 in AEW if they do everything correctly. And it's always a big if they do everything correctly with AEW. You never know. But I mean, he's right now he's on the path that Wardlow was on. When Wardlow was getting over big, everybody was loving Wardlow. Powerhouse Hobbs too. Powerhouse Hobbs is no slouch. Powerhouse Hobbs is doing great things too. But what Big Bill, man, like he's got a great look. He's fantastic in the ring. What they're doing with him is spectacular. And I can't wait for the moment that he turns on Chris Jericho and he gets that pop and then he breaks out as a single star in 2025.
Well said. I like it. I like Big Bill as a pick. We were talking about him and Hobbs. They continued on. And he definitely is the breakout star in this very, very lackadaisical learning tree gimmick. So yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
All in for it. All right. My last one, I'm going to give it. I pooped on the Death Riders last week thinking that they weren't really having any direction. They had a hot opening on Dynamite. I really, really enjoyed it. I like that we opened up with Jay White. I like that the Death Riders then confronted him. I didn't like how quickly Rated FTR came in. It was like, Death Riders walked in and they walked in. It's like, did you not see each other right next? Like,
hey guys.
At least have them walk in and then Jay White like get in their face and then have them come in and have him. That was weird, but it wasn't as hot as an opening as the week before, but it was still a hot opening. And I like that Death Riders put the beat down on them and didn't just like run away or whatever they've been doing. They were actually there to fight, put in the work. I like that Marina Shafir picked up Moxley's wife and walked her out into safety. People didn't catch that, but that was why it was like, that's her boss's wife, man. You better get her out of there and put her on her shoulder and carried her to safety. And then she was back later on in the arena. I liked it all. Here for it. And I like that Mox got challenged again by Cope. Cope opened it up again. And then Mox was like, no, I'm not going to face you. I liked it all. Building the intrigue. I'm all for it. But like you said in the past, I think after this, we got to get rid of FTR no matter what happens. I know Rated FTR is a cool gimmick, but let's boost that tag team division again and put FTR to good help, not being in the main event spotlight. I'm past that stage of them right now. But other than that, fantastic open by the Death Riders. Yeah,
there was another solid opening to Dynamite. And this is what you need. You don't need to open every episode of Dynamite with a 50-minute match. I think I saw something that said that AEW, their first hour had 57 minutes of promo time and story and no in-ring stuff, which
weird, huh?
And it was a solid episode of Dynamite. So
weird, huh?
Probably one of their best ones of 2025. So keep telling stories. That's what you got to do. And the Death Riders right now, they did their thing. Minus losing on Collision, they did their thing.
I agree. All right. Time for the sad part, the lows. What's your first low of the week?
It's got to be Daniel Garcia's TNT Championship reign. I forgot he was TNT champion. He came out on Collision and the crowd went mild. They didn't. Nobody cheered. He's doing this weird thing with Lee Moriarty and Kyle O'Reilly. And at the end, like nobody, like I don't care. Why do I care about this? And just a few months ago, I was excited about Daniel Garcia. They seem to really be building him. They really seem to be pushing him. He beat Jack Perry. He was in the feud with the Death Riders. He was doing, he was outside with Orange Cassidy and trying to, brawl with them in private party. It was just, but now ever since he won the title, he's just been a complete afterthought. I don't even think he ever defends the championship. I don't really know what's going on with him and Daddy Magic. Like, are they a thing now? I don't understand it. I don't really get what they're doing with him. I like Daniel Garcia. I think he's good. I think he's a good talent, and I think he's talented. But his reign right now as TNT champion is just not doing it for me.
100%. They all got crickets. All three of them when they entered. It's just silence. That's what happens when you don't build things up. Daniel Garcia is like Ricky Starks, where he could be the main event of AEW, and they choose not to have it. One, they got rid of Ricky Starks because he's going to be gone soon. And secondly, they have just done Daniel Garcia dirty, and they thought giving him the championship was going to work.
Yeah.
100%. And they thought giving him the championship was going to work, and it hasn't because you're not utilizing him. It's his first title defense. Has he got it? Maybe. I don't know. But what happened to Jungle Boy? Jack Perry was a champ, loses it, not to be seen anymore too. It's just like you build these people up. But TNT champions, the one thing was that they always defended it. Always. A TNT championship has always been the most defended title no matter who has it. And he's redoing the mold of that not happening. And I don't know. I just don't think it's good for his career. They need to do something and something now. And they didn't follow anything up after the boring triple threat match. So yeah, he needs a feud and some rivalries and some mic time and some real matches. So yeah, like Pronto, because he is talented.
Yeah, he's good, and yeah, he needs something ASAP.
Really. All right, so I keep harping on this girl, but Mercedes Money is my first low of the week. I am over it, and I think everybody's over it. When she came in on Collision, she doesn't get booed anymore. She doesn't get cheered. She brags about all the freaking belts that she thinks we don't realize that people script her into having. Like we said, Harley Cameron is doing better than she is right now. She's carrying Mercedes Money. And then she was even worse on Dynamite, where she got mad and threw the puppet, and it's just not hitting. She just isn't it anymore. They need to have her drop all 12 of these belts and restart, because Sasha Banks worked. Sasha Banks worked in New Japan. Mercedes Money does not work in AEW. They started her off awful. They ruined her off the start, and she's never been able to gain that momentum. And I don't know if we're seeing the fact that maybe she wasn't as great as we all believe she was, or just the booking is just atrocious. I'm going to go with the booking is atrocious because I want to believe in her. But this just isn't it. And I'm tired of seeing her on my screen. Harley Cameron needs to beat her, and then we can move on with Mercedes Money. It's just like giving a person a ton of belts doesn't make people like you, and she's unliked enough that it's not giving her the cheap heat either. So let's move on.
Yeah, no, I think we need to either drop this CEO gimmick and come up with something different, or the belt gimmick, something. But yeah, she needs a character overhaul. Otherwise, it's going to continue damaging her legacy and all of wrestling.
I fully agree. All right, what is your last low of the week?
This has been a problem with AEW for a while, but it's the double booking of things. It's really confusing sometimes, and maybe I'm just old and I can't keep up with it. But you know, like you have the Don Callis family feuding with Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay, but also they're feuding with Brody King and Buddy Murphy because they had a match against each other. But also Buddy Murphy's feuding. He wants an international championship match against Okada, so he's involved in all of that. And then you have MJF going at Dustin Rhodes, and you have him feuding with Jeff Jarrett. But you also have Hangman Page in the back there, and now Max Caster is getting him. It's just like there's just a lot of intertwining of stories, and it can be a good thing in sometimes, but it can also be really confusing sometimes. I'm like, okay, wait, who's feuding with who here? Like, what direction are we going in for the pay-per-view? Like, it becomes hard to follow after a while. And Jay White, for this whole time, Jay White has been kind of sort of feuding with Wheeler Yuta, but now he also wants a match with Jon Moxley, and we're getting a tag team match at the Grand Slam with Adam Copeland and Jay White versus Moxley and Claudio, and Wheeler Yuta gets cast off to the side, even though it was Wheeler Yuta that cost him the Battle Royal. So just the double booking of people in AEW, to me, it's just one of my lows, and it's been a low for a while.
And it sucks too, because there's so many wrestlers not getting time and not getting TV time and so on to wrestle. Well, if you stop double booking everyone, you can give them more TV time. Why have Buddy Matthews go at Takeshita or whoever, or Okada instead of Okada?
Called him a bitch.
I called him a bitch, and Okada did the funny line where I'm no bitch, you a bitch, whatever. It's funny stuff from Okada, but you can have anybody else do that, you know, Ricky Starks, other people not getting TV time. So it is very disappointing in that sense, is that you're double booking when you have an overbooked roster. So like either give people more time and stop double booking, or release those people and continue your double booking facade that you do. But he double books everybody. I mean, the world champions double book, tag team champions, everyone's double booked. So yeah, and that's, I think, has been the problem with AEW, and something that does need to get fixed. Focus on the one thing you need to focus on, build those storylines, have good matches, and they're trying to get there. But yeah, the double booking is still in existence. Yeah, for sure. Speaking of poor booking, I'm going to end my low on a really low, and that's one Mark Davis. And I'm not crapping on Mark Davis. I'm sure he's a great human. I'm sure he's a talented wrestler. But whatever reason, Tony Khan is all in on Aussie Open. They're trying to pretend like Kyle Fletcher's a thing, which I think we're starting to realize he's not. And so now they brought in Mark Davis. And the thing is that Don Callis cut a fire promo at a Godfather type dinner table where he was talking to them like it was a mafia type vibe with the scar on his head. And I got a 6-man or whatever it was. He's coming in. The thing hits and it's Mark Davis, and the crowd went silent. No one gave two shits. And then when he came into the ring, Don Callis got on the mic and they asked how he got Mark Davis, who was literally just against Kyle Fletcher for the past 3-4 months or whatever. And Don Callis said he owned him, and that's pretty much it. So he was forced into it. And then you think, okay, so where's this going to go? He's being held under his will to be part of the faction, even though he looked like he was pretty happy to be in it. And then he instantly jobs to Will Ospreay. Cool. So all of this was 100% pointless, just like the Don Callis family. Please stop. Will Ospreay, Kenny Omega, get the hell away from the Don Callis family after they're wrestling, I think, on this Saturday event. Have them wrestle and move on. Don Callis, do other things. You can still exist, but exist elsewhere. I am so tired of this, and the AEW crowd is tired of it as well.
Yeah, I think so too. And I'm tired of it. And I completely agree. Mark Davis being the reveal was a complete letdown. And the only saving grace I can take from it is it helps boost the tag division again. We get Mark Davis and Kyle Fletcher back in Aussie Open, which can then, they can feud with the Hurt Syndicate. And then you have Private Party, you have the Guns back, you have FTR, you have the Hellhounds or whatever they're called. So there's one saving grace there, but that was we were praising that episode of Collision just a few weeks ago about the story that they were telling with the fifth, who's the last member of the Don Callis family, the Toni Storm reveal. It was a great episode. For this to be the reveal 2 weeks later, it just makes that episode a complete waste of time.
Super done. All right. That's it. Let's get into our least valuable and most valuable dude and dudette of the week of AEW Collision and Dynamite. As always, we start off with Ryan Enjoys Wrestling. Who is your least valuable dude or dudette of the week?
So my least valuable dude of the week is Max Caster. I like the guy. I think he's talented. I think he's great. But what they're doing, like him losing an open challenge in 1 minute, that's very typical of AEW. You remember the Saraya, speaking of Saraya, remember the Saraya rules match where she could make any rule in the match and she still lost? That's AEW booking in a nutshell. Let's have Max Caster do an open challenge and lose in less than a minute to Roosh of all people. And you're trying to build a star. You're trying to make him, break him out as a singles competitor. And that's just not how you do it. So I got to give it to Max Caster through no fault of his own. It's the way he's being booked. It's not him. I still have hope for him in 2025, but what they did on Dynamite, or Collision rather, just wasn't it.
All right, we're 1 for 1. I agree. I think it was stupid. I already talked about it. I don't want to talk about it again. I love Max Caster. I think he can have a phenomenal singles run. I truly, truly believe that, but you got to do it right. This was not it. So, yeah. All right, we're 1 for 1. All right, most valuable dude or dudette. Are we the same? Are we going 2 for 2? Who you got?
It is none other than Toni Storm as Mariah May. I don't know what else to say about that. I mean, she looked just like her, identical to Mariah May. The whole segment was great. The match was great. Toni Storm, man, she just gets better and better with everything that she does. And just when you think like, where else can they go with this? Because she was Rockstar Toni Storm, and then she went back to Timeless. Then on Collision, she was Timeless again. Okay, where's she going to go with this? She comes out, she even gives a note to Justin Roberts saying he cuts playing the part of Mariah May is Toni Storm. And it was just everything about it was great. And then Mariah May's facial reactions throughout the whole thing was fantastic as well. So she deserves some credit. But Toni Storm as Mariah May is my MVD.
I fully agree. We're 2 for 2. It has to be her. I mean, just her sucking on her finger. Yeah, it is. Just her sucking on her finger over and over and over again had me in enough of what I needed. But she is just so damn good. And they both are. But Toni Storm stole the spotlight. She had it on Collision, just like I gave it to Mariah May last week because she had the promo by herself. Toni Storm had it this week. I give it to Toni Storm. Great things, and Tony Khan needs to be so happy that he got her from WWE and utilized her the way that she needed to be utilized. He doesn't get enough credit for that, just like Swerve Strickland, so treat him better. Toni Storm, for sure. Most valuable dude or dudette of the week.
A brilliant wrestling mind, for sure.
Yes, she is. All right, that's the week. AEW review. We'll get more into it next week. We'll have predictions, obviously, for their upcoming fake pay-per-view. I'm excited for that. As always, if you ain't clicking subscribe and if you ain't giving us 5 stars, what the hell are you doing? Hurry up and do that. You know you want to, and it'll help us immensely. As always, if you want to catch me, I'm always posting on my social medias daily, especially on TikTok. You can catch me on all of them at my_wrestling_opinion. If you just want to listen to me rant about great stuff of pro wrestling. And with me, as always, is my sidekick and my brother from another mother.
Ryan enjoys wrestling. Go follow me on all the social platforms as well. Go subscribe to our TikTok at 2 Dudes with Attitudes. We're going to be posting some TikTok exclusive content here shortly.
Yes, sir.
Go follow us on YouTube at 2 Dudes with Attitudes, and then follow us on X at 2 Dudes PC. We are live today, so welcome to everyone watching us on Twitch at 2 Dudes _ with Attitudes. And we are working on getting our Instagram so we can go live there as well. So big things are coming on the horizon in 2025, and we appreciate everyone's love and support. And if you're listening to us on Apple and Spotify, drop us a 5-star rating and review, and tell everyone about your favorite 2 dudes on the internet.
Yes, sir. Wolfpack, we out.
2 dudes with attitudes, let's go. It's the 2 dudes and our attitudes, ruthless, aggressively speaking, so let's do this. We're Ryan and Denton, they here to get your attention. A 5-star broadcast, start to the ending. Whether it's the E or it's Harley, the 2 dudes with the attitudes that bring the heat. Get the point, yeah, it's on time to